Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Well, this is it. The final day of Star Trek Timber, and I have so many videos I have to do, so let's hope I can get all these done. Which I probably will be able to do. So, there you go. Anyway, so let's start our reviews off with Liaisons. The Enterprise welcomes two Ayarian ambassadors, Lokel and Byleth, who are visiting the ship as part of a cultural exchange that will also send Picard to their planet. Before Picard departs, he assigns Troy to act as Lokel's liaison and asks Riker to do the same for Byleth. But Byleth has other ideas, and instead demands that Worf serve as his shipboard guide. Soon afterward, Picard departs for the Ayaran homeworld with Voval, the Ayaran shuttle pilot, who is gruff and uncommunicative. The awkward silence is disrupted by a malfunction aboard their ship. Crashing on an unknown planet, Voval receives a concussion, but Picard is seemingly unhurt. It decides to seek help outside, but falls to the ground trying to traverse the planet's stormy surface. While he lies unconscious, someone silently drags him away. Picard awakens on the distant planet in a small, dimly lit cargo cabin. He is approached by a solemn, attractive human woman who informs him that Voval did not survive the crash. Picard learns that the woman's name is Anna, and that she is the sole survivor of a Turellian cargo freighter crash that occurred 7 years before. After Anna tells him that he has 3 broken ribs, he sends her to retrieve the shuttlecraft's comm panel to send a distress signal. Back on the Enterprise, Troy has introduced Loquel to dessert, and Loquel is so intrigued that even the next morning he is drinking sweet juice. Worf said all about he can take of his abrasive, demanding guest. Riker decides that the tension might be eased by a friendly game of poker. The game is anything but friendly, and Worf realizes that Byleth is stealing chips. Before long, Worf loses control and, despite Riker's insistence that he calm down, attacks his guest. But instead of getting angry, Byleth is pleased. Huh? He expresses admiration for Worf's display of anger and politely excuses himself to document the experience, leaving everyone confused, with the exception of Loquel, who is still reveling in his dessert. Meanwhile, Anna brings the transmitter module back to her cargo ship, and admits to Picard she accidentally destroyed it, using a phaser blast to removing it at the first place. Picard is then shocked when Anna suddenly kisses him and tells him she loves him. Picard becomes enraged at Anna when he realizes that his ribs are now really broken, and the woman, who continues to beg for his love, is actually holding him captive. He angrily alerts Anna to his discovery, at which point she becomes distraught over failing to gain his affection and rushes out the door, breaking off her necklace and locking Picard inside. Voval comes and opens the door and talks to Picard. Voval explains that he only appeared to be dead because, when the Orans are injured, their metabolic rates slow down in order to promote healing. He and Picard set off in search of Anna, eventually separating. Picard finds her at the edge of a cliff, threatening to commit suicide if he does not tell her he loves her. When he knows that Anna is again wearing her necklace and that Voval has again disappeared, Picard senses that something strange is going on and tells Anna to go ahead and jump. At that moment, she transforms herself back into Voval, who explains that he is not really a pilot, but a Ayaran ambassador. He staged a crash in order to study the emotion of love, non-existent on the Ayaran homeworld, by using Picard as a subject. Similarly, Loquel and Byleth are sent to experience pleasure and antagonism, respectively. Picard is taken aback at first, but upon returning to the Enterprise, acknowledges the experiments of the 3 ambassadors as being productive. Upon their departure, Worf and Byleth inform Riker of their marathon 11-hour session in the holodeck doing battle exercises, which has enabled Byleth to explore the concept of antagonism in a less destructive manner. Loquel offers a sampling of Ayaran nourishment to Troy as a token of his appreciation, but apologizes that it is not as delicious as the dessert he has enjoyed in Troy's company. Troy accepts the food, stating that the volume of dessert they have consumed has surpassed even her threshold, and she would be quite content to eat something bland. Yeah, that's what I would do if I was in your situation, Troy. So, well, I say this is a pretty unique episode, and the fact that these 3 were trying to, grasp different human experiences is actually kind of interesting. So, overall, I give Liaisons 4 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me in bed as we take a look at Interface. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.